So Dinesh, thank you again for joining me on Still Creative. You were a great guest when we talked in studio, and I provided a link to that full conversation in the comments below. And as you know, I forgot to hit record on the video that day. So thank you for coming back and spending a few minutes with me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me back here, Eric. It's always a great pleasure to chat with you. It's always, I learn new things when I listen to your podcast and talk to you. It's really a pleasure to be back here again.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I thought I would start by sharing a few of the people who I think would enjoy listening to our conversation as much as I did. And so, the first group that comes to mind are people who know you. I think people who know you will really enjoy hearing the passion that you have for the work that you do, including the creative process. And beyond that, I thought about business analysts, and that could be junior to senior business analysts. It could be people who are aspiring to become business analysts. It could be folks like yourself who are managing teams of BAs. That group, I think, would really learn a lot from what you shared with me. I noted interesting work. I was really inspired by the approach that you have taken to your career and that transition from being a developer to moving into a business analyst role, now an IT manager role. But that element of thinking long-term about what you wanted to do and going back and getting additional education that supported that career goal, again, I thought was really inspiring.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I noted the creative process. So I think about really anybody who's trying to do creative and innovative work in organizations, through people, through teams. I think, listening to, and I'll ask you about this in just a moment, but listening to your approach or the business analyst approach to the creative process, I think could be really interesting. Again, anyone looking to do creative and innovative work in organizations. And then team coaching, I noted. So from a leadership perspective, in your example, you are now managing and coaching individuals who are doing what you used to do, business analysts. And so I thought it was really interesting, the insight that you have about the BA role, but in this case, how you're able to apply that in your approach to coaching and leading your team that makes you a really effective leader. So with that, again, I want to ask you about that creative process, but before we go there, can you start by just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So my name is Dhinesh, like it should have come up on the screen. My last name is a little bit hard to pronounce, but it's pronounced as Muralidharan. So it's Dhinesh Ram Muralidharan. I work for JBS USA as an IT manager. I started off as a Salesforce developer and then transitioned to a business analyst or an IT analyst under JBS. And then now I'm a manager there. On my academic background, I did my master's in computer information systems from Colorado State University. And right now I call California my home. I live with my wife and my puppy, who takes a lot of my time other than work here.
Yes, puppies have a way of doing that for sure.
Yes, yeah, he's a high energy one.
Yeah, okay. It's been 7 years since I had a puppy around, but I do remember those days. So, So in terms of the creative process, again, I think that your passion for the work that you do again stood out to me, as I'll mention in our full conversation, even before I met you and reading your LinkedIn profile. But can you talk a little bit about what that creative process looks like from a business analyst perspective?
Yeah, so the first process, or the part that I would like to do whenever I hear a requirement, is actually like trying to understand the requirement and understand what the business is trying to achieve. And once I have that, we need to come up with solutions. It need not always be innovative solutions. Sometimes the simple solutions might be the most creative one and the right one. So what I try to do is I try to come up with the right solution, and it's not just always me. Like sometimes, like we have different types of solutions discussions happening across the team. Like we would do like we'll play the devil's advocate sometimes, have two people come up with a solution and see what would be the right one, and we would do polling, voting, and we'd all sit together, brainstorm, and try to pick up what would be the best, but also the right solution to go with the requirement. So it could be different. That's the best thing about being a business analyst. You don't always have to come up with the same solution again and again for every single problem.
Excellent. And that really connects, I think, to one of the other things you talked about, which is the rewarding nature of the work that you do. And that's from the standpoint of managing a team, as well as being in the business analyst role. And can you speak to a little more on that rewarding nature of the work and why you find it to be so?
I think like this is one of those career paths where you could see your solution make a immediate impact on your business needs, and see how it changes not just the industry but also the world. Since I work in the food industry, like everybody has to eat, so there may be new things that every single company is trying to achieve, and so how we are trying to come up with these solutions that not only makes our company an industry leader, but also see how that affects every individual human being, and how food they consume is getting transported to them or transferred from them a facility, or even a live animal to a box to a retail store, and how it gets it. So you get to see the change that you make, and also in a positive way for helping the food industry. That's the most rewarding aspect of my job, I would feel. And even if it's not in the food industry, you always get to see the change, how your solution has help the business. You can like always measure it in terms of dollars, time savings, and even like happiness back from the business, and how you have helped them tremendously.
Excellent. That makes sense. And to think all the way through to the food and the service that you're providing back through the work that you're doing, being able to see that measurable impact. And I know you talk about that element of the always having new problems to work through, and really how that keeps you sharp from a creativity standpoint. And so all great reasons why appreciate the chance to talk with you. Makes sense to me why you've been able to have success in your career, in your current role, as well as previously working as a BA. And so again, I have the link to our full conversation in the comments below, and I think folks will enjoy that. And I certainly appreciate the time, Dhinesh, that you have invested here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. Thanks for having me on your show once again. Thank you so much.